The only thing that I've heard that is great about that movie is that there's this one instance where he does this like almost like a Superman punch type thing where he jumps up and goes like that, and his skirt goes up a little bit, and you get to see his ass.
Oh, Brad Pitt, you get the cheeky. What's that shape? There's a shape to that. There's a name for that. The freaking curve. You know the cheek. The cheek.
I'm no use to you right now. Just thinking about his ass, all the blood's gone from my head to elsewhere.
Right, yeah. So. You've gone pale, you know.
So, bring it back. Let me just think about something else.
Oh, now you're
Geralt of
flushed.
Rivia. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's getting worse.
Oh, lordy.
What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Streamcast, a show on the internet where we talk about the latest and greatest streaming services.
This is on podcast. No, wait.
There's something about streaming services and the best and latest and greatest.
I don't know.
Put them into a sentence and figure out for yourselves. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going good.
Is Hydra coming back yet?
You laugh, but Hydra is the villain in this as well.
In this one as well.
I told you, I'm going to point it out every time.
But anytime you see something, let me know, because I'm blind to the Hydra
I know,
theories.
you are a Hydra apologizer. You're a Hydra... what do you call people that help?
I was going to say, you're a sympathizer.
Sympathizer, that's it.
I'm a non-sympathizer? I'm the opposite?
No, because I'm calling out Hydra wherever I see it, and you're not seeing it.
And I'm trying to hide them. I'm trying to harbor them.
You're Hydraing.
Hydraing them.
Wait.
Guys, this is not a Hydra podcast.
This is the most awful intro.
This is actually The Witcher Season 1 Streamcast right here. Episode 3, that's right.
I can count.
This
is as high as it goes. I maxed out.
Any more than that? Well, luckily, there's only 3 episodes out so far.
1, 2, 3, and then what's bigger than 3? Infinity. That's it. Exactly. Infinity plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. There's nothing more than that either.
Witcher Season 1, Episode 3, where we are going through all of Witcher Season 1 with you guys, watching, talking about how awesome it is in preparation for Witcher Season 2, whenever that comes out. A little bit of news for Witcher Season 2. Apparently, it's in post-production already.
Yeah, had they wrapped filming.
So it's going to be not too long until we get, hopefully, an announcement for when it's going to be happening.
It is supposed to be. There was rumours that it would be this year.
Yeah.
That is potentially on the cards. Much more so than, say, I don't know, Horizon Forbidden West or God of War 5. We're not a gaming podcast, but I just wanted to throw that out there. We know more about The Witch Season 2 than those 2 games, and that has me heated.
I was going to say, you can't take the gamers out of us, unfortunately, guys, and we will talk about games whenever we can. We really haven't heard enough about those games. But another little interesting thing, if you're watching Streamcast, you're probably into movies or TV shows. Yeah. Lucifer, Season 5, 28th of May.
Oh,
so
sick. Well,
very soon.
Oh, when's Loki out?
Loki, early June. So we'll have enough time to watch it, and you know how
they do the
Netflix
whole thing. We could do the whole season recap
in one episode.
Binge it and do it in one go.
How about we enjoy it?
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. Anyway, enough of your derailing. I just wanted to let everybody know about that. We are here today to talk about episode 3 of The Witcher.
Before we get too far into it,
go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to derail the entertainment.
This whole podcast is just terrible. What is going on?
Our content across both of our channels and here with the flagship show on the FPN is made possible, is powered by the incredible Super Bros over on patreon.com/conversations. Who do we have to thank?
I love how many H's you had in
About 5.
Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsuck, Geralt to Rivia, aka Casper the Friendly Patron, Record Friction, Dan the Man, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, Martin Scorsese's Master H Barts 12, the Midget Aloy from Smallville Sabine, the former freeloader Christian, Master Chief himself, Albiscori, Super Sus Ben Fry, who is a clone of Eddie, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Raj Vandalin, he's got a plan, guys. You just got to follow him on one last job. The filthy FIFA fanatic Joe McCormack, Kevin, the #1 simp of Xbox, Juicy, and my Juicy Left Nut 69. Thank you very much for that. I did the my there. I felt like that, that makes it a little bit more personal.
My Juicy Left Nut. Yeah,
exactly,
nice.
Thank you, bros, so much for supporting us. They're keeping the lights and mics on and the streaming services going here at Conversations and Streamcast.
Yes.
We'll put our name in there. It's powered by Conversations.
It's fine. Also, twitch.tv/Conversations. Quick shout out to our subs. Thank you, Sugar Daddies.
Thank you, everybody out
Thank
there.
you, Daddy.
And shout out to our Pornhub channel as well.
Are we actually making one of them?
I think at this point
Do
we
they
should.
have a safe for work section?
I think the whole website is not safe for work. There
Okay.
not a safe for work section.
But I mean,
If
it doesn't
they ever
have to be.
did-
It doesn't have to be not safe for work.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm down. Should
If
we?
they ever
talk
did
about
make
the
a
show?
not safe for work, a safe for work area, it would be legit fire. Tell you that right
Yes, it would.
now. So episode 3 of The Witcher.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
Do you know what's really funny?
Go ahead.
The very first line,
Mm.
that kid lying down, put me into Aliens 2 or 3 with the kid. You know, they come at night mostly. For some reason, that's what I was hearing. I was like, this is gonna suck. But then I remember this is one of the best episodes.
Yeah.
I love this episode. The fight's incredible. It's so good. It's so good.
A lot happens in this episode, right? A lot
Yeah.
of key moments.
A lot of
And-
key moments, and now that I'm paying attention and know it's coming, I'm like, man, they really set up the time stuff. It's not as janky as I thought it was, but
That's
then,
the dumb thing I was just gonna say. It's like now I'm like,
oh yeah, so much. If you're paying any attention, you clocked it. We're idiots, so of course we didn't clock it the
Not at
first
all.
time. But also, the show, so it stepped up. I'm like, the writing's better. They actually set a lot of this stuff up, and then at the end, I'm like, whoever edited this really needs to calm down with that cut. You know, I was like, all this esteem for the storytelling and the visuals and the direction and everything, and then I'm like, but the editing, which I thought was good, is like, why there's 5 times too many cuts. You know, there were way too many cuts. But other than that, I thought it was really good.
Also, a thing about the cuts, and the reason I do still have one issue with the time skips and whatnot because it's hard to track.
It's still not easy to track.
The issue with me I have is that it's a brand new concept to do things this way, where it's 2 timelines at 2 different times.
Yes, yeah. So it's not
And
regular.
Exactly. If you're cutting between stuff, usually they're happening at the same time in different locations.
Right.
But because they're 2 different timelines, you don't know that, and that's how storytelling has been done for ages. So there's no way we would know that. But now looking at it, it's like I see what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's just I didn't know it was cool then.
The thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the time skip isn't linear. So what I mean is that let's say you were doing this in a movie of someone rediscovering something, like a detective finds a thing, right? You might cut to a previous timeline, like say the 1920s, when another detective discovered the same thing, and you watch these 2 detectives follow very similar clues, but it's always in the 1920s and the 2020s. It's exact 100 years separating them. In this, there aren't.
No.
There isn't. You're following Ciri now, Geralt at different times in the past, and Yennefer at different times in the past, and they're different to each other. You don't know where you are, and that's the really janky thing.
It's like Geralt's one is over 5 years.
Yeah.
Ciri's one is over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yennefer's one is over 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, which one? I don't know what to do.
Right.
Anyway, luckily in the second one, it makes a bit more sense after you've watched it
Yeah.
again. Should we get going with this episode?
Yeah, man,
Should we
let's
start
do it.
talking? So we do start with that boy that you were talking about,
Yeah.
the alien's boy. And God damn it, he's got some terrible teeth. It's the only thing I could notice in this whole scene. I'm like,
Not the huge wounds across his chest.
He had wounds? I was just
Not
looking
him specifically describing a werewolf.
Didn't-
Comes at the full moons,
I didn't know.
the howls, all this shit, and I'm like,
don't know what you're talking about. I didn't notice
You
that
couldn't-
at all.
you couldn't
No.
tell?
Oh, all I noticed was just those black teeth, just like that. Anyway, awful stuff.
I actually didn't notice his teeth. How weird is that?
It was the first thing I noticed.
I'll tell you one thing that I did notice.
Yes.
The age difference between that boy and his father, it's about 3 years.
Yeah, there was not a lot of difference there.
It was rough. I thought they were friends.
It was, you know how it is when you get drunk
Right.
on ale and stuff like
At 3.
that. At
Yeah.
3, it just happens, it just
Right,
happens
right.
like that. Anyway, the boy is describing, like you said, pretty much a werewolf.
Exactly
He's got
a werewolf.
Some neck marks on his chest. He's just about to die. He's on his deathbed right there, and he's explaining to
A witcher.
someone with a medallion, a witcher medallion. It's a witcher
And you can tell from the armor and the swords. We see those shots.
in a shadowy sort
Definitely
of
a
figure.
witcher.
Yeah, and he walks out and he requests the amount of coin for this job to kill this monster. And when he comes forward, it's not Geralt.
It's
I
not
thought it was
Geralt.
going to be Geralt.
Yeah, of course it's Geralt. Geralt's the main character,
The
right?
only Witcher we know of.
Exactly.
So what's going on there?
But here is not Geralt. Is he ever named?
I don't think he is actually. Anyway, the very next scene, that Witcher goes hunting for the beast.
He goes to a butcher's?
Yeah, it's almost like a meat market. One of the huts that he goes into where he follows the trail of blood is smoking
Yeah.
meats.
There's blood everywhere.
Yes.
And I have watched enough movies and also have a functioning survival instinct to know that this is where you die. All you have to do to not die, or to not guarantee that you do die, just don't go in the place with the swinging corpses and blood everywhere while hunting a monster. Just like you just step out and let it come out into the open. At least you stand a chance.
If he had,
You know what I'm saying?
before he just walked in to that hut, if he had just looked up above the door, it would have said, the murder room where I die.
Murder room, yeah,
I
exactly.
see.
Exactly.
I should probably not go in here.
So hold on, let me just what script? My lines. Unnamed Witcher enters murder room. Guys, murder room. I feel like
I'm allergic to them.
I feel like my character doesn't go into murder rooms. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a Witcher, the two swords. Like, he ain't a rookie.
Listen, he's a brave Witcher, okay? So he goes in anyway.
Which is known specifically for their bravery.
Exactly. Go in there for no. They don't need any sort of reward for it. They just go in there because it's the right thing to do and because they have courage.
One thing I noticed, and it reminded me I need to talk to you about Mass Effect after this, because you played the Witcher wrong and never used your potions. One thing I appreciate, all of the Witchers use a bunch of potions, because that's the point. One of the reasons they go through the mutations is so they can handle all these poisonous...
I'm sorry, but that's a bitch move, Geralt, okay? Bitch
Not
move.
Geralt, but...
No, Geralt anyway. He does.
okay,
I'm saying any Witcher, Geralt specifically, you're a little bitch. Right?
Right, yeah. Right.
Anyway, he goes in there.
I dig the black eye look as well. It looks sick.
It was really sick. And it was a very, very cool scene as well, actually. Like the monster, whatever it is, rushing past, moving the meat that's hanging. He's turning round, turning to the other side, and eventually gets destroyed by whatever the hell was in there.
This episode is the first time that, while we know that Geralt is a monster hunter, and even like that very first scene when we meet Geralt, he's fighting the Kikimara or whatever it is.
Kikimora.
Yeah. This now feels like a horror.
Yeah.
It's everything with the, I forget what the actual name of this thing is, but everything, a Striga, everything with this thing.
Later on, yeah.
Everything with it is straight horror movie. It's nightmare fuel. It's lit so well. Like, whoever directed this should do a horror movie. I hate horror, but I might watch that. You know, like
it was good. It was good.
Everything about it was ominous and scary, and the right amount of it. Like,
it was very cool.
Even later, where Geralt sees the guy's body, that was like very everything about
just the
it,
face sticking out of the salt thing they put in there. We cut to the next scene, and Geralt and his magnificent chest there as he bends over to get some wine. And then right next to him, a woman with another great magnificent chest, just two perfect pairs of chests.
His is better.
I'll be honest. He worked a lot harder for his chest, so
that's probably true.
So that's something right there, but beautiful nonetheless. He is doing what witches do. Going from town to town, banging bitches.
Going through all their hookers.
It's like, how many of you guys have had my silver sword? You haven't had it yet? No problem. Come over here. Right. Anyway, he lays down to her. She's like rubbing on all of his scars, looking for stories, basically, because she's a hooker. She got nothing else to really do. I'll find out some stories. That's the only interest I'm gonna get. He doesn't really want to talk. He's fucking Geralt of Rivia. I'm not here to talk to you. I'm here to bang you. That's all it is.
Yeah. So
there's also he's supposed to be emotionless. So it's like
there's a couple of things where it's like he has needs. Like part of becoming a Witcher is it's just one of the side effects is their sex drive goes way up, which by the way was like, that doesn't sound bad. It ruins all of his relationships. Like it's a relationship, it's a curse. It's really bad, especially because you have no emotions and people freaking hate you. You have a super high sex drive and no one wants to bang you. Like, you have to pay a really high price to get hooked, anyway. And he is like, he delivers one of the best lines in the whole show. He's banging some chick, and then she asks him a question, and he says something, and she's like, "Oh, what? You didn't have fun or whatever?" And he goes, "Shouldn't you know when someone's pretending?"
Oh shit! I must have missed that little bit.
Go back and watch it, and it's so good because he delivers it so straight faced, and he's like, "Shouldn't you know when someone's pretending?"
See, this is Geralt, bruv. He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Women can't please me. Okay.
He proper like sucks the wind out of her sails. Exactly. It's a really funny line, man. It's delivered so well because Geralt is very like, he's a realist and bizarrely kind of an optimist.
Yeah.
Like he For an emotionless guy, he's always looking to save people as best as he can.
Yeah. That's the whole point of this episode, actually,
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
Anyway, just as he sort of like offends her and she sort of sits over to the side with her gorgeous chest out, the pimp starts banging on the door and he sits up and the whore starts telling Geralt about another witcher that apparently made it through the town and stole their coin for a job and just never came back.
Yeah, he got like 1,500, whatever it was, and then just left.
Exactly. It's like now they don't look kindly upon witches, and that's why the pimp is getting so angry at the door.
Yeah.
Anyway, he asked for more information. Apparently, he went to Temeria, so he knows where to go to find this other witcher, whatever happened. The pimp breaks in, and he gives the coin to the woman, and it's like a quarter of what needs to be paid for this whore.
Right.
And she's like, "What about the rest for me?" And then the pimp comes out and is like, basically, they've had a little discussion. They're like, "You keep my horse, you keep Roach,
outside the place,
and I'll go get some money for your thing. If anything happens to Roach," she says, "it's like, you don't scare me, Witcher. We've had witches come through here, and you don't scare me." And he takes like one step closer. Like,
I love how he doesn't say a word, and the guy, "You don't scare me," like, nah.
Pissed his pants straight away.
This is the Butcher of Blaviken.
Exactly.
Like, you don't get how this works, do you? He's paying you because it's the right thing to do, not because he owes you money.
Exactly.
Like,
and he just looks up to him and he's like, "Point me in the direction of Temeria." And we start
I love that as well.
episode.
Like, he doesn't have to repeat himself.
No.
He said, "Don't let anything happen to the horse." And now he's going for the... it's so
You
well
best
done.
not, eh?
He's
You best
so
not.
threatening when he wants to be. It's so good.
So apparently he wants to go after this witcher because it essentially gives witches a bad name for like accepting a job, accepting coin, and then never completing the job.
It's bad for work.
Exactly. And it doesn't help the fact that he didn't have enough money to pay for the whore as well.
Right.
Because then it makes him look bad. And it's like, okay, so 2 times in a row this has happened.
Right.
Witches might not be trustworthy.
The essential services, work and pussy...
Can't
and
pay
you're
for
getting denied left, right, and center
because
you just run off with the money or you never pay your bill. You know?
I would say I feel for Geralt, but I don't know what that's like.
What, pussy?
Yeah. Don't
Oh,
shit! You
shit.
got me there. Fucking got me. All right. So the Witcher goes to Tameria to clean up his mess, and the miners that are at this at Tameria are about to stage essentially like a coup. They're going to overthrow the royal family, overthrow the king and the royal guards.
They're talking about a revolt somewhere else, and they're like, if those guys can do it, and they're like pussies over there, we can do it. What's the guy's name? Foltest is like, he's locked away, he doesn't even know what's going on. We can do it. And then Geralt just sort of pipes up from behind.
He's just like, "You're gonna kill your king?" It's like, this is not a good idea. This is not a very good idea. And then he offers to do the service that the previous Witcher couldn't.
Yeah.
For a third of the price, and he'll take payment afterwards
Where the
to
other
sort
guy
of
took
make
it up
up
front. Yeah.
exactly to make up for the wrongdoings of my guild.
Yeah.
He says, and the guy's just like,
I mean, right.
It's pretty much perfect. I mean,
it's not a bad deal.
Exactly, it's not a bad deal. But at that moment,
immediately interrupted.
Exactly, the King's Guard comes along, and one of the servants, I don't know what he's called. Do you know what he's called?
He does have a name.
Yeah.
I think we hear it. I totally forgot. You immediately know this douchebag is a douchebag.
You know he's a douchebag straight away. Anyway, douchebag comes up and he starts talking to Geralt, and he tries to get him to get out of there because we don't trust witches anymore because of what happened previously. Get out of here.
Which, by the way,
yes,
what bitch move. He knows exactly what happened to the last guy.
No, how do you know that?
Oh, well, I assume he's well informed.
He looks
like a guy in the know.
I was gonna say maybe because he's further up in the royal chain and whatnot.
Exactly.
He's a right hand man probably of the king.
Right,
so you get that. Okay, I understand what you mean because for a second there I thought there was some sort of spoilers.
Because think about it, like Foltest, he has been locked away in the castle. We've been told that, but this guy is out here speaking to like the revolutionaries.
He's got his ear to the ground.
Exactly.
That's it. Anyway, the guy tells him, "You must leave Temeria, and we'll send you out of Temeria with armed guards." It's like, no problem. We'll escort you out.
Cool.
Starts escorting out in the snowy forest.
One thing that this show does really well is something about the dusting of snow makes it feel way colder than if it was just like all piled up high. You know, because it feels like it's snowing, but also still a bit rainy.
Yeah, it's
Like it's
just
wet
enough.
and cold.
Just enough to get
I don't know, something about this show, it sounds silly, but it feels cold.
You always like that. You do like
Yeah.
the finer details of stuff, and I admire that about you.
That's the only thing.
I only really once I see Geralt's chest, that's the end of the story for me.
You
really.
just lose focus. There was other stuff in the scene.
It's like, wait, Geralt was.
It turns
What?
out this
He
scene
wasn't
is
alone?
Yeah, this scene is more. This whole episode is actually more than just that one topless scene of Geralt.
There is also the topless scene at the end after he's recovering from his wounds.
True.
But from what we don't know
We
because
don't
it hasn't
know.
happened yet.
Yes.
So he's being escorted out of Temeria, and the guards behind him
Talk about lazy.
just fall asleep.
Asleep on guard duty is one thing, right? But riding 4 dudes riding a horse, mate.
Boom. And then Geralt just sort of looks around and he's like, okay, Witcher. Phew. Pulls out his sword,
Yeah.
and a woman appears from the shadows.
Yeah.
And she's like, Geralt of Rivia, what does she say to him? Says something like,
Your reputation precedes you.
that's it, reputation precedes you, right? And she's like, don't worry, I won't be hurting you. You can put your sword away. It's like, says the witch from the shadows.
Right.
It's like, I'm a sorcerer, actually. It's like, yeah.
You're
I
right.
don't
And
give
she
a
said,
shit.
and then he basically says something along the lines of, so basically, you kick me out the country.
Yes.
You make a show of kicking me out. Now you want me to come in and kill the beast. And she says, no, I want you to save the beast.
Yes, that's right.
And it's not the king paying, it's her.
Exactly.
She's going to pay out of pocket for him to save the beast.
Which is interesting straight away because it's clearly the king doesn't want any part of this, doesn't
Right,
want to
right.
do anything about it,
Yeah.
but she does.
It's
Who is
interesting,
she?
right?
Why does she care? Sorry, I'm coughing.
Also, I think this goes towards sort of setting up Geralt as kind of a very curious person. Not he doesn't just go out of his way to save people. He goes out of his way to like see interesting things.
That's always been a good trait about Geralt. If you've ever played any of the games as well, it's always like if there's a job and it's like, like even the in the first episode actually, it was like, the devil has been stealing our grain. And he's like, I know the devil doesn't exist.
He knows devils don't exist, but
It's
he takes
something
Right.
else, and that's interesting.
right. Or like
I'll find that.
in the games, when creatures aren't just these evil or that Kikimora, it's a pest, right? It eats people, it's a pest. But in the games, when you find something that's intelligent, Geralt always has the option to like, well, no, it's intelligent, I'm not going to kill it.
Yeah.
Right?
And also, how did it become? Is it cursed? Is it born like that?
Exactly.
What is the he's very curious, guys. Very
That's
cool.
exactly it. And this piques his curiosity. This
Yes.
witch that works for the king wants him to sneak back in, and she's gonna pay him out of pocket the full price
Yeah.
to save this thing. Something's going on. What is it? Let's find out.
And this woman's name is Triss.
Probably not
Marigold.
important.
Triss Marigold, right there. And people who played the games, who have read the books, know that name very well.
Yeah, Triss is the OTP, the one true pair, the love of Geralt's life,
It hurts me to even agree with you. Get off of my Geralt. He's for Yennefer. Okay. Anyway, she turns up.
Yep.
They go back to the castle.
Yep.
And she starts to explain that apparently people started to notice that the beast was coming from the king's sister Ada's crypt, where she was buried. After a bunch of people getting kidnapped from inside the castle, from the surface, just above where the crypts are. So it's raised people's suspicions,
so
and that's where they found the beast coming from.
These attacks have been happening for like 10 years or a bunch of years.
Yeah.
And they started in that castle, which is now, it wasn't always abandoned. It's been abandoned because of the disappearing people.
Yeah.
And so they know that's where it lives.
Exactly.
And what does she say? She takes him to see the corpses, right?
So just before that happens, Geralt has his usual suspicions,
Right.
and he asks a few questions, and it was like, so it's the princess died, Princess Ada died. Was she pregnant? And it's like, pregnant? No, I mean, if she would have, then she would be the next heir to the sole heir to the throne. So we would have known about that. So no, she wasn't pregnant or anything like that.
We don't.
And then they go, okay, well, let's go see the bodies that were claimed by this beast.
It's quite interesting because his job is very similar to like its diagnosis.
Yeah.
First, half the time he's trying to diagnose what the problem is so that he can go into the fight fully geared up to properly fight the thing that he's fighting. If you go in like with the wrong poison, it doesn't poison the thing you're trying to kill, right? So all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting seeing him go like through the motions. Like, okay, what was her relationship? Was she pregnant? Was she who were her enemy? You know, that kind of deal. And then she takes him to her little like crypt.
Yeah,
like
it's
her
like a
little
special
area,
place,
yeah.
right? It's almost like it's secret because exactly of who's down there.
Yeah.
So it's 3 bodies, 2 other people that have been killed,
Two of
and
the
one
victims.
is the Witcher.
Yes.
And the story was that Witcher skipped town with the money.
Right.
And Geralt's offended immediately. It's like, you told people that the Witcher left, skipped town with the money, when really he died trying to slay this beast. It makes me look bad, and it makes Witchers look bad.
But he also clocks the story. It's like,
Yes.
basically you chose to lie and say that he skipped town because that would be better for you than this monster having killed a Witcher, which makes it even more dangerous. You know, that
They killed a Witcher?
a
What?
mutant whose sole career has been killing monsters.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. He goes about what did it eat?
Yeah,
And
it's like
Triss
an
knows.
autopsy almost.
Triss knows what this is.
Do you
but
think?
Absolutely, she knows exactly what it is before she speaks to Geralt, but she's letting him put the pieces together.
I didn't get that
I
feeling.
think so.
There was one point where he says what he thinks is anyway. He goes, puts his hand up the chest cavity of the Witcher and sees that the heart's missing, the liver's missing. It's like, I only know of one beast that's that picky of an eater.
Yeah.
A Striga. And then she's like, a Striga, those don't exist. So I thought maybe she...
maybe
that's
you're
how
right.
I remember it anyway.
Yeah.
And it goes, they do exist. They're just extremely rare, he says.
Yeah, it's another Disney princess.
Exactly.
Which there's a bunch of those in this. One thing I do want to point out...
Created by a curse, apparently, these
Yeah,
things.
it has to be a curse.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out,
Yeah.
in her little roomy area,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of like... Did you notice it's all chemistry stuff? Because one of Triss's things is she's all about potions and stuff. She infuses herself with magic. That's the character of Triss. She's not... It's something like she's allergic to magic.
Oh.
Yeah. I forget the exact details.
Not good for a sorceress.
No, it's told in the books. Someone who's a proper connoisseur of the books is going to totally correct me.
My God, Sheps, you're so dumb. It's
Yeah.
clearly this tiny difference that you didn't say.
Yeah, it's something like she's allergic to magic, but so she uses the potions to either make it so that she can use the magic or make her magical in other ways. It's something weird, but the point is her character is very based in using magical potions,
Right.
which is one of the things I appreciated in knowing the character of Triss, despite her being nothing like the character.
Right.
That you know the background is set up like so
Right.
that is what her personal witchy area would look like, whereas somebody else might be more of a library or more of one of those or freaking telescope things that are all magical in the game. Do you remember those things?
Telescopes that are all magical?
I forgot what they're called.
Okay.
Anyway, but she doesn't have one of those, but she
Right.
has all the chemistry gear, so it builds up to her character.
Cool. Geralt does say a few things, like he says it's a rare creature that's created by a curse, but the curse didn't stop with Ada because he's saying
Yes.
that the curse was put on the daughter. It was also put on the daughter that nobody knew about inside her, and they were like, well, she had a daughter. It's like, yes, because Strigas are only female, so it has to be a daughter.
Yeah.
That was cursed as well.
Yeah, so
and it's
so
all a bunch of
the
information.
way he figures it out is that because they know Ada died,
Yes.
it isn't her.
Yeah.
And Strigas are only female, therefore she must have been pregnant, and the curse, which cursed Ada, also cursed the daughter,
Yeah.
which started out grow as a fetus, and then it was a cursed fetus, and then it was this thing.
He probably lays it out afterwards.
It's pretty grim.
We'll get to that bit in a second. Anyway, cut to Yennefer, and she's in a circle of fire, about to get her fixes and turn into a beautiful sorceress with her.
No,
with
I think
her,
you missed one scene.
With her, I'm pretty sure I haven't. But anyway, she's putting on her. She's checking out clothes and stuff like that. And the artist is saying that she can make every woman of Artuzara a work of art.
Aretuza.
And
also, I think
cast.
the very first we see of her is she's banging that guy. Istrid.
Is it?
Yeah, she bangs Istrid to
My
a crowd.
apologies. I am very sorry. Yes. Explain this scene in great detail for me.
In great detail. The most important thing is it's one of, I think it's her illusion.
I think so, yeah.
And they applaud, which cracked me up.
It's so hilarious. When I first saw it, I was like...
Because initially you're like, oh, is this some weird magic rite of passage thing? Is this like the whole everybody gathers to watch two magical people bang? And that's well done for fucking in public.
The magic semen, yes.
Right. Exactly. And then no, they just disappear.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, it is hers, because he says, oh, the applause was a nice touch.
Yeah.
I just imagine like banging and then people like, well done. Well done.
Also, her fetishes are quite tame for a person who can literally do anything with her mind. It's like, all right, so you just want to be watched.
Right.
Okay.
It
was weird though, because it was all
odd.
old people as well. That's another thing. What's that all about?
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think.
I really want to be watched. Not by businessmen in suits.
You'd think it'd be like people...
Or gorgeous women in dresses. Old men and women.
Or, because she's right, because she has like a power fetish, right?
Yeah.
She's all about getting power. So maybe, I would have thought it would have been, who are those villagers? It would have been like her family and then 2 villagers that were kissing over the daisy.
Yeah.
Who are like, oh, well done. You're way better at fucking than we could ever be.
Yes.
You know, like...
Yes.
Right? Like all the people that have wronged you that end up like, oh, you're so much better at that than we are. You know? Like anything, but no, it's just random old people that clap.
No, just some old people.
That's it.
I feel sorry for the old people that they got for that. They were just like, we need 12 old people just to watch 2 people fuck.
Right. Right.
And you can go on your way now. Goodbye. And then they have their conversation.
They have the
afterwards.
conversation, and it's basically like he says in the ascension or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
You can choose however you want to be. Whatever you want changed is going to change, and she is having trouble seeing the perfect Yennefer.
Yes.
Right, because that's what she needs to envision is the perfect version of herself, and those are the modifications she's going to make.
Yeah.
Interestingly, though, none of the other girls make any modifications whatsoever. Just saying, like, it kind of doesn't fit super well with the whole, like, because all the witches, all of the people, the purpose of it is that they do modify themselves, because you can, right? If there's anything you don't like that one gray hair, you change it, you know, anything.
Maybe it is something subtle, like, I just really don't want to have to shave my legs ever again. Can you just sort that out?
Oh shit, that's a shout.
Exactly.
Like the perfect haircut just stopped right there.
That's it. My hair don't grow no more.
Perfect.
Done.
Shit, that's a
Could be
shout.
it.
That's a shout. Or LASIK.
There you go.
You know, just like...
Sort it out.
Anyway.
Yes.
She goes off and she speaks to Madam, whatever her name is,
Madam Miranda, whatever.
Yeah. Who helps her...
envision it. She says, like, close your eyes, envision yourself, your strength and your posture.
It's not even her. She's asking her. She says, imagine the most powerful woman in the world.
That's true.
And then, because she knows Yen's true desire is power, to not feel helpless, whatever that person looks like is a Yennefer that looks like that, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's getting to... Because Yennefer's trying to imagine herself as a powerful person. Instead, she is told to imagine the powerful person and then put your face on it. That kind of deal. It's I don't know. It's a back to front way of doing it. It's just interesting because
it helps her get her imagine it. She helps. She sees something in the mirror. We don't get to see what it is. It's just we get to see her and then see her purple eyes staring at it.
It's also important to remember that it helps establish Yennefer's character as well. She is all about power. That she always moves the goalposts.
Yeah.
Like she always wants another thing. Yennefer's always about like, okay, well, I just want power. Okay, well, now I have power. I want to be beautiful. Now I have this thing. I want to be that, right? And 2, that deep down, Yen is just a person and she has flaws and insecurities like everybody else. She can just also pop you like a balloon.
Yeah.
With the power of her mind.
Yeah. She's that powerful.
She's really powerful.
Yeah, so she's in that circle, and that one guy's like, "Oh, he can claim he's the artist, and like you're a first draft, and I can mold any clay into anything."
He's a dick.
He's
the shit he says.
He says it as tactfully as possible. It's like, you an ugly fuggo, and we are gonna sort you out. Don't worry about it.
Let me be straight up. You're nature's first draft.
Let me be honest.
Damn.
Oh, there are pigs that are like scared to look at you. You know.
Let me be honest. You should have ended up in someone's hair, but you're here now. You know.
Yeah. And then we cut back to Geralt and Triss, and they go to the king to explain what's been done.
Yes.
The king at this time doesn't seem to be bothered. He just seems to be eating. But then every now and again, he's listening to the conversation almost, but he's just ignoring it.
Geralt catches him flinching as well.
And his subjects are doing most of the talking and listening.
Yeah, they're being really unhelpful.
I was going to say, all they're really doing is just trying to catch him off guard on his lax of decorum and what. It's like, oh, if it's truly there, you must call it princess. Like, that's not the key point here.
Right.
God damn it, get your shit together. Anyway, Triss is talking for a little bit, but then Geralt comes along and he gives his little speech.
Right.
And it's like, this child has been cursed. It's been growing inside a petrified womb. It's been festering until it eventually slithered out.
Feeding off the corpse, and so it eventually slithered out, bent limbs and
spidery legs and stuff like that. And it's like, this thing sounds disgusting.
So I think he did that on purpose. So the character of Geralt does this on purpose. As he's speaking to the king and his men, he catches Foltest like wincing or giving him extra attention whenever he mentions like that Ada was pregnant, and Foltest, he catches that, right? And then to just twist the knife and really see, he starts describing this, and he basically clocks, Foltest,
he's got something to do with this. Anyway, the king says, "Leave us." And everyone has to automatically go. It's the king's wishes.
Right.
Everyone gets pushed out. The one last guy sort of like straggles behind and like gives Geralt a look. Geralt pushes him outside, locks the door, and they're all like, "Oh my god, they're gonna murder he's gonna murder the king. He's got clearly that's what witches are here for." Everyone try and knock down the door quick.
Facts, but also these king's men are atrocious.
They are the worst. They're
terrible bodyguards.
They just got pushed out. Not at knife point, not at sword point, anything like that.
Most of them, 9 out of 10 of them, just walk out first. They just leave the guy who fights monsters for a living in the room with the king that just beefed him out.
Exactly. Geralt then turns round and he asks the king to level with him. He's like, "So,
tell me,
just myself, don't need to worry about it going anywhere else. Did you have sex with this? Did
you bang the shit out of your sister?
Sister. It was sister.
Yeah.
Did you bang the shit out of your sister because then this child would be yours?"
Yeah.
He does think about it, but he acts as if he's offended by the insinuation.
Yeah.
And he comes up to him and he gets all in Geralt's face, even though Geralt doesn't really care.
He immediately changes the topic as well.
Changes it back to him. He's like, "If you think you can insinuate this sort of thing just because people like you," and he starts basically dissing out witches and how they are emotionless they are.
Does he? I don't even think he says you're insinuating stuff. I think he completely changes. I thought in my head he just goes, "I hear witches are totally emotionless."
I think he does that afterwards, but he's sort of like, "How dare you insinuate such a thing of a king and stuff like that? I am a king." Anyway, he tries to flip the script on him to try and change the subject, and then right at that moment, just after they've said everything, the guys break in after about 6 minutes where the king could have been murdered in.
Oh yeah, I mean they're literally face to face.
Exactly, and then the king says, "Get out and never come back to Temeria."
Yep.
Geralt's like, "All right, fuck you." No.
Cool, man. Yeah,
deal with your own shit.
I'm out.
Is it? I'm out here. And then
we cut again.
Yes, we cut again.
The Maid Council, the Council of Wizards, whatever.
They call it the I forgot what they call it. There is a C word that they call each other.
They are C words.
They call each other C words. A lot of them. A lot of them.
Well, one of them name drops that someone in that place that we were in the first place.
So he goes, cut to the mages and they're discussing where Yennefer should go.
Right.
Yennefer should go to Nilfgaard. Well, how about to Sintra with Queen Calanthe?
No. King whatever recently passed. Maybe his daughter will be more pliable.
Oh.
No. Calanthe's even more hard-headed than he was. It's like, it's just thrown in there. They're just talking. But we know Calanthe is the grandmother of Ciri, but we weren't paying attention.
But she was
It's just
dead.
it's all these names. It's all these names they're like,
how do you know?
Medieval Polish, Foltest, Calanthe. We're not paying attention to the shit.
Yeah.
We weren't at the first time, but it's
But now we know.
Right.
And now you think about it, it's like, okay, the timeline's all off. She's dead already.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't get the message. Is that how this works? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it turns out that they all essentially, because they've been spying on each other, that other boy's been spying for Striga, find out everything about Yennefer, finds out that she's caught at Elven. He drops that in the meeting saying like, he's caught at Elven. Maybe we should send Yennefer to Nilfgaard instead of Adria, wherever the fuck she's going to go before.
Wherever it is. because basically they say that Madame de Mistress or whatever says that guy likes people from his area.
Yeah.
But he's also like when I say racist, like they're elvish,
He hates
human,
elvish people, yeah.
whatever, right? He hates anyone that isn't human, basically.
Yeah.
And so Stregobor drops that she's elvish or part elf.
Yes.
And well, that's enough, right? We won't send her there. And that interrupts. We don't know what Lady, Madam, whatever her name is, plan is, but it disrupts it.
Yeah.
And you can tell that she's
pissed.
She's really pissed.
She's really pissed. And there is an element of, well, even though you're all powerful magicians, all wizards and witches and stuff like that, you're still a woman. You're still a woman, so just shut up and we're gonna handle what's going on here. And Stregobor's a bit full of himself as well. He sees himself as more powerful than anything else.
It's funny that you say that, because
that's the vibe I got anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in this,
like, she is powerful.
In this world,
that's the vibe I got.
In this world, some of the most powerful people are like, I mean, and I'm not talking Yennefer. I mean, like, it's canon that like most of the most powerful magic users are women for whatever reason. So like, I don't know that it would. I didn't catch that. Maybe because it's also the dude who's leading it, whose name I forget, she beefs him out and he doesn't say anything back to her. Right? She says the nepotism, which is like, you know, you always look after you and your own family inside an organization, like moving up your own guys, of sending your daughter to this really cushy thing, which you didn't have to work for it. You know there's better candidates. It stinks. It reeks, and you telling me this other thing, like, basically get fucked, even though he's the mage leader or whatever. And he's like, he doesn't say anything to
him. And he recuses himself from the next vote that they do, right?
Right.
I wonder why she doesn't talk back to Stregobor then, and why Stregobor talks over her. That's the only thing. That's the vibe that I got. That's the only thing.
Okay, it's interesting that you took it that way. Yeah. I think the reason she didn't argue with him is because it would have diminished her position. Like, she was trying to, if it becomes obvious that she desperately wants Yennefer where she wants her, then her other enemies on the council will vote against her just to weaken her position.
Right.
So beefing out Stregobor, like, they're all playing their own little games, right? So whoever thinks that she's in the way at the minute will vote against her.
Right.
That's why, because obviously
possibly
she's way more powerful than Stregobor. I don't know why I feel that way, but I totally feel like, because Stregobor plays all these little games.
Yeah, like he's a bit more sneaky, sort of like conniving fucker.
Right, and she's really much more like upfront. I get the impression she's way more. Also, why didn't he kill Renfrey? He could have. He should. If he's as powerful, Yen could have killed her.
Good point.
Right, even though if she's resistant to magic, like, look, if you're resistant to something. If you're resistant to a brick and I drop 50 bricks on you, like, it's enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, so why wasn't he powerful enough to kill a little girl?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just feel like she's very powerful. That's why she can talk. She can beef out everybody here. And the guy's like, okay, we'll do a vote. I won't make it say, we'll do a vote and I won't even vote on it because you're beefing me out. So it's funny because you're like, oh, there's a sex one. I feel like they're deferring to her a lot. And the only reason Stregobor got his way was to force the council to make a decision about the race of the person, like about the king they were trying to influence, rather than the mistress chick.
Again, I don't think that addresses the dismissive like tone that he has of her.
Oh yeah, he's Stregobor is doing it, is being really condescending, but I didn't feel like it was because she's a woman. I felt like it's because he's finally getting one over.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's interesting, isn't it? There's two different takes on it.
Yeah, but then it turns out that Yennefer has to go to Nilfgaard. That's the end of that, because that's how everyone votes.
That's that.
Yennefer finds out that she's changing her attire. The king of Nilfgaard prefers you to be wearing this. It's not what I chose, the artist says.
That's it.
And she runs off to the office where Mother Miranda, whatever her name is.
She has a name.
She has a name, but we just don't remember it. Mother Miranda, whatever her name is, goes and she's smoking a fat ass pipe, and she goes over to her. It's like, so what happened? I thought I was supposed to be going to so and so place. So, some new information came to light, and you'll be heading over to thing. You'll be a better fit over there. It's like,
she clocks.
It's like, I don't think that happened at all. I think that the guys at the
council overruled you.
The council overruled you. And it's like, the great, and she says her name here.
Yep.
the great so-and-so,
Yeah.
been forced aside, been told to do what they have to
Right,
do
right.
because of what other people say. Can't, but oh my God, it's
Right,
like you have no power. No, you're not
Yeah.
powerful at all. Just trying to push her buttons to try and get her to do something. She kind of does level with her though. She's like, look, the council have said this. This is the end of it. There's nothing we can do about it. Done.
And Yennefer's like, well, why don't we do this instead of blah, blah, and she's like, Striga told them that you're elvish.
Yeah.
And one of the so she isn't trying to get back at Yen for saying all these hurtful things.
No.
It's very clear to me, at least, that this is kind of a mother-daughter relationship. She really wants Yen to grow,
And also, she's
and
trying
this really
to.
hurts her.
Do you reckon that she knows as well about the boy that she's been having sex with?
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
She
knows
does
for
because
sure.
they're supposed to be spying. Okay, so I think also the reason why she told her about the elven thing is because who did you tell that you were part elven to?
Yeah.
This boy.
Oh,
this
no,
boy's
yeah.
clearly telling Stregobor, and that's how this is
That's
all
how it
falling
goes down.
apart.
So she says the council knew. The council decided because of your heritage, and she says, "How could you tell them?" She says, "The lady girl says, I didn't tell them. So you work out the rest for yourself."
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And it's very clear that she isn't saying this to hurt Yennefer.
Yeah.
Like this position, despite Yennefer like bitching out and saying all this horrible stuff, like
Yeah.
she actually does want, maybe not the best for her, but she wants her to be successful and get to these positions of power, and that this not only interrupted her plans for Yennefer, but like it's clear this isn't going to be the most successful move for Yennefer. Do you know what I mean? It's not just the headmistress's plans that were disrupted. Like she's kind of hurt that Yen's not going to get what she wanted.
Yeah. She does actually see it, regardless of how things started off.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you said, the mother-daughter relationship type thing. It's kind of like she's grown more fond of her, more like wants her to succeed and become more powerful in the way she sees.
We saw it in the earlier episodes as well, where she says like when after the lightning thing, she says witches like us.
Yeah.
You know, she's seeing herself in Yen and stuff like that. So it's a cool relationship. And Yen goes off and beefs out Astrid.
Yeah,
the guy,
the boy
yeah.
that she likes to have sex in front of people with. She starts writing a letter down essentially when he arrives, and she's sort of like trying to ignore him.
Yeah.
But then they have a big old fight. It's like, like, where did they find out this information from? Oh, it's from you. You've been telling them about it. I knew I shouldn't have trusted you. I shouldn't have done this, so and so. And they get in a wedge old fight.
A big fight. One thing I really want to point out, they have pet names. He calls her Yenna.
Yeah.
Exactly not what what Geralt calls her. You know, like one of those differentiating things. He calls her Yenna. It's really bizarre. They're beefing each other out about like, he says like, "Come with me, and you'll see." I'm sorry.
A world of pure imagination.
Like he's like, "Come with me. We'll go and do my thing. We don't. Neither of us have to go to court." And she's like, "What? Just be a second fiddle to."
A dustpan to dusting off old bones and stuff like that. And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, she's like, that's your dream. I want to go to court. I want the power.
Yes,
and
court. That's it. That's what they called them.
Court. Yeah.
There we go. All right. So after that, after they storm off and they separate from each other, they have a quite a spat. It's quite a lover spat right there.
He also
they go from the high of their relationship to like the lowest. Yeah.
There's no applause for the fucking that's happening here.
No, not at all.
He says one thing. By the way, I know we're actually skipping. There's a couple of other cuts in between, but I feel like it's better to just clump a lot of this together.
If we do it the way they do it on the show, we'd be
jumping around too
understand.
much. He says, and this is important, I think. He says he calls her Yenna a bunch, and then he says, "No amount of power or beauty will ever make."
The mic.
Sorry, I'm reading my notes. No amount of power or beauty will ever make you feel worthy.
Yes,
and it's one of those things of like, they've been seeing each other's minds, although she says she's kept some stuff back, but like he kind of does know what her big fear is, and it is that, and it cuts to the heart of the issue a lot.
Yeah.
And she freaking storms off.
He's really pissed because essentially it's like, while she sees herself as a ugly hunchback and what she basically is, he has fallen in love with her regardless of her looks and what anyone else is saying. and she's turning her back on the one person who is being true to her.
Yeah.
Regardless of the betrayal that may have happened, which was, he didn't think he would go this far, turn out this way. Anyway, he tries to fix it, but she storms off anyway.
We'll cut to Geralt outside of
Exactly.
an abandoned castle.
Exactly. He's at Temeria still. He's hiding around one of the walls. He sees some guards over there. He throws a rock, first of all, and it scares the guards. They're like, oh my God, there's something inside. This must be the thing.
The thing.
Must be the
it's the
beast.
thing.
And they're like there. And just as he's about to find another way in, Triss pops up behind.
Out of nowhere, freaking assassin.
In her beautiful, mink coat? I don't know what the hell it is.
It looks warm and he looks cold.
So I was going to say, while his beautiful leather armor is great, she looks like she's very toasty.
Yeah.
She looks very toasty.
Yeah.
She's standing there and they start talking. They're like, okay, it's like, oh, so you didn't go. It's like, you really want to do this for for nothing. Like, you rejected my coin. You rejected everything. Right. You've been told to leave and you're still doing this. She tries to get a bit of information out of him.
He changes the subject
straight away. And
he drops that Foltest is the dad as well.
Exactly. And she's just like,
to like throw her completely off the scent. He's like, stop asking about me. Foltest is the daddy.
What?
The DNA test came back. Foltest is the father.
You are the father. Anyway, he throws another rock, and then those guards, they just pussy the hell out. And they run out of there, and then it's free for them to go inside. I feel like it's fair enough.
Like, I feel like we're calling them pussies is a bit...
Imagine the king. It's like, okay, I need 2 guards to guard the abandoned castle where the beast is. Anyone?
Did you know there's that one douchebag that
pushes the guy. Sir, Jeremy, sir.
Well done, Jeremy. Well done.
Well done.
Very brave of you.
Oh God. Anyway, they get lost and then they go inside.
Yeah.
It's where they go inside, I think, is where he drops the bomb. That it's like, the Foltest is the father.
Yeah.
And they're looking around at some of the paintings and things like that.
That's it.
We see one of the paintings of the Foltest, the king, and the sister.
Foltest and Ada as kids.
Yes, as kids with their like curly hair.
Which again, if you're paying attention, is like straight up telling you what's happening in the show. I wasn't at all. I didn't know anything. I noticed it this time. I was like, I'm like, and then we're gonna see this exact.
Yeah. So he goes in there and he says like, do
you know what? I bet the writers and director of this show, when everybody was complaining about the time skip stuff, were like, are you guys freaking morons? It's literally spelled out for you. The very next scene, you see those 2 kids named Foltest and Ada, and they get called Foltest and Ada.
And they're pretty much dressed exactly the same way, standing in the same position. They hang on the shot of the picture.
Right.
They're like, looking at this.
They do it a bunch.
Guys,
they do it a bunch of times.
Do you see this? And we're just like retards. We're like,
the whole
this is poorly edited.
In this one episode, they do it maybe 7 times.
Yeah,
and
I forgive them for this episode.
Never clocked it.
I'll forgive them for this episode. Anyway,
they go to her bedroom.
Yes, they search
Ada's bedroom.
Is Ada's? Yeah. I think she's princess. She counts as right. Before she wasn't
Princess
married.
Ada. Yeah.
Where her body was possibly cursed. That's where they suspect she actually received the curse.
Yeah. Oh, so he's like looking like for a voodoo doll or something like that. Something that would have carried the curse.
Yeah.
Triss, by the way, finds a music box and starts messing with stuff. I swear this chick is a freaking ninja. Because why would you be like, oh, hey, a music box. I'll just fuck with it and see
also,
if there's a hidden compartment.
It seems like there was a bunch of like, she had to push specific buttons and then one popped out and then pushed it and then the drawer opened.
Right.
I was like, how did you figure that? I don't know. Anyway, the drawer pops out and there's a letter inside.
Yeah.
And she opens up the letter and she reads it. And quick cut to the douchebag guy that we don't know his name, the right-hand man of the queen, whatever it is. And they're reading it and they're basically saying that...
Oh, no, there's one thing just before that.
Go on.
Geralt walks up to the bed.
Yes.
And we hear him and see him go... Just breathing in, basically.
Because he's
weird.
He's just giving...
Weirdo.
You know, he says a lot. He does weird things
a lot. Sniffs and hms and fucks. That's all he does.
Exactly. And they're having a conversation with this guy and give him the letter. And she goes, oh, I can't believe it. So the king had sex with Ada, and the queen cursed Ada to cover it up, and then they killed her. Oh my, this would take away the throne. This would overthrow the throne. It's a good thing we had to hide this.
They ask the guy's name which we are told, and I forget, like, what was your relationship with Ada? And so he's like, oh, I like to think she saw me as an advisor, confidant.
Yes.
We spoke often, and this award, did she ever mention Voltes? He says, only like, in the regular way.
Never like this.
Right.
And then he manages. They talk a little bit more, and then she says, like, "Well, how do you think this happened? Like, why do you think it may have happened? So, that if they were sleeping together, then they were probably okay with each other. Well, I mean,
unless it wasn't consensual.
It's like, oh, so then the king Foltest cursed Ada, blamed the queen to cover it all up. It's like, well, kings have done a lot more for a lot less.
Yeah.
That makes sense. 100% makes sense. And then Geralt just comes up.
That is a good theory. There is only one issue.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize he was Wolverine.
Yes.
But, I smelt you.
Yes.
Old
and new scents. He
says.
says.
Yeah.
All over the place there.
Yeah. And he says, what would I be doing in a dead girl's bed? I can't do a Witcher voice. You can do a pretty good Venom. Do your Venom version of Geralt.
Let me see if I can do something. I smelled what you were doing.
That's pretty good.
Was that pretty good?
That's pretty okay.
I can do a kind of good Geralt one then.
Better than me.
And he goes, I can smell what you were doing. What did you take that as?
I smelled what you were doing. Oh, he was wanking all over the place.
I definitely took that as well. He was in that bed, of a dusty old dead person's bed, wanking away.
I just, in my head, there's an image. You know when like cartoons burst through walls?
Yeah.
There's like dusty bed, and this one like dude fapping shape on the bed. Just like no dust.
Yeah. And those words are enough to break him, and he was like,
he goes,
he didn't love her.
Yeah.
It's like he forced himself on her, always nagging her for attention.
Yeah.
You should have seen it. Basically just confesses the whole thing that he was the one that did everything and started the curse on Ada and everyone, but didn't mean to do this though, at least. And
so he goes that he cursed. He didn't curse Ada, he cursed Foltest.
And somehow.
Right, but it's probably one of those deals of like he cursed Foltest to take away his happiness or something.
Yeah.
And Ada was his happiness, so Ada gets cursed.
Exactly.
Ada's pregnant, so the curse travels down, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And Geralt just is like, cool, and sparks him out.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's like, you chat some shit to him, and he's just like, spark, black.
Yeah, just like
done
that.
Right there. And then the very next scene, he wakes up and his arms are tied to the bed he's been masturbating in. And
tied up at the scene of the crime.
Exactly.
I was going to make a different joke there, but I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah, that might not have been... get a black light on, see what happens.
Oh,
Anyway, he then starts asking him questions about how to lift the curse.
Yeah.
And it's the night of, like, I guess, like, the full moon, and this thing's going to pop out in a second.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, what are we doing here? We have to get out.
Yeah, he's like, Witcher!
Let's
go.
Untie me. I order you. And it's like,
nah,
don't care about it.
That's not how this works. He's like, okay, I'll tell you everything. Just take me out of here. I order you, carry me out of here, and I'll tell you everything. And he goes, what curse did you cast?
Yeah. I don't know. I met this person on the road, and
it was a witch on the run from the, whatever they call the council.
Yeah,
they're on the road, run from the Brotherhood or something.
The Brotherhood. She does say Brotherhood. I was thinking, I was like, no, it's not an Assassin's Creed tie-in, is it? God damn it. Anyway.
And he said to choke a cock, and he took it to literally like the blood of a rooster or something.
No,
and
he gives a lamb.
Lamb,
sacrifice the lamb and bathe in the blood of the lamb until the morning, until you heard three cries of a rooster.
Yeah. Well, no. So he says, I was told
the rooster crow 3 times or whatever.
Not quite. He says, I was to kill a lamb and bathe in its blood until thing, and the incantation was, and says it in like ancient Elvish or something, and that's how Geralt knows that the curse is only broken by keeping whatever is cursed out of its home or the crypt or whatever until a rooster crows 3 times.
Yes.
And he's like, well, fuck, because it's a Striga. And the only way to make it not a Striga without killing it is to keep it out of wherever it wants to be until dawn.
It's a cool moment.
And it's not dawn.
Because he's like, immediately he's like, shit.
Yeah,
and he runs over to his potions, grabs one, takes it down, and the guy's like, you have to fight it until dawn. And it's like, yes, we fucking
Yeah.
do right here. And he's like, well, get me out of here. And he just like
He leaves.
and he says something like, it's like, I'm just a man. And it's like, you're no man. He just leaves him
It's
there.
a real dressing down.
Yeah.
Cut, because there's a bunch of cuts, I know, but
Yes.
I think condensing these scenes makes better sense for the story as well, guys. Come on, editors.
Yeah.
It's the wizard's dance or whatever.
That's right. Yeah, we cut to the mages and witches dance with their kings. They're meeting their kings for the first time.
There's a couple of kids at this dance.
2 kids playing. One's just poking the other girl in the air.
Yeah,
And it's the goddamn princess and the king.
The mother even says, Foltest, stop bugging Ada or stop playing with Ada like that. Behave yourselves. And
did
then
we
someone
not
comes
see
up
it?
and speaks to them, addresses them as the royalty from Temeria, and calls the kids by their name,
No
who
one
are
else-
dressed identically to in the show.
picture.
It's a very blonde boy and a very red-headed little girl in the same color stuff. Like, it's the kids. They could have done that scene where they focus in on the painting and then it dissolves and it's the shot. They could have done that, and I still wouldn't have got it. That's
Like,
how dumb I was
That's
the
a
first
really
time.
weird transition
Right.
they did there. I wonder, probably nothing. Don't worry about it,
right,
guys. I can't believe we're that dumb, but we did notice it the first time. Anyway,
We did miss one scene with Yen. It's like a throwaway scene that you don't pay
Go on,
attention to. So there's all the witches do their rites,
yes,
and Yen doesn't because she's upset and confronting Istrid.
yes,
So while she's confronting, it is Istrid, isn't it? The guy, the boy.
the boy, yeah.
The other witches all dressed in their robes, getting their like ascension or whatever it's called, and because she misses it, it doesn't matter that she's powerful and that stuff. She didn't like pass her exams basically.
Yeah.
That was the exam she had to be there for, and because she hasn't done that, it doesn't matter. So now at this dance, Yen can't even go because she isn't a witch. She's not
official yet.
Yeah, she hasn't graduated. What do they do in Harry Potter? Owls. She hasn't done her exams in it. She's not a freaking witch.
Yeah, so it's
she hasn't
not
been
official.
assigned anywhere.
Exactly. And then we after that little bit with the witches and the mages and stuff like
Also,
that.
there's a couple of things because the kings meet the witches that they've been assigned,
Yes.
and one of that one is not happy with the chick that he gets.
Yeah, he's not happy with her. It's like, oh, so and so would have been better at this dance or whatever.
More sure-footed or something. Someone from my gaff.
And she almost like the girl almost like she sort of like, Mother Miranda, whatever your fucking name is.
Right.
Oh, you can. What do I do? You can do anything? You
Right.
can say something?
And she just kind of apologizes for it, but
Just
you know.
moves on like that.
Also, I feel like if you're that chick, this is why I would make a terrible wizard.
Yeah.
Is I would look at the dude dead in the eyes and go, I can burst you like a balloon in front of everybody, right? Like, I could do. Would you like to be a mouse for the rest of your life? Like, are you wanna test me, blood?
So, bruv, have you ever crossed a woman? Now try and think about crossing a woman with amazing powers.
Do you know what happens to
Don't do
witches that are
this.
powerful but not powerful enough? Eeled. Eeled, bruv. You want to be eeled?
I seen it. You don't want it. And then after, because she like hasn't got her official status yet, and because she's just been pissed off by her lover boy saying that she's not good looking enough, I should say. She then goes over to the plastic surgeon artist guy,
that's
the
the
magic
dude.
plastic surgeon guy, and goes, she wants to be beautiful. She wants to change into this new self. And she wants to do it awake because there's no time for the guy to go get the herbs to knock her out. Basically,
He says like, I can't do it. You're not official. And she's like, fucking pull your balls out of someone else's purse and let's freaking do this thing.
It's like, they'll have my head for it. They've already got your cock, and it's
Right.
like,
That was ouch, but like, okay,
all right.
Like,
Well,
I mean, maybe take some lessons on negotiations, but like, I offer accepted.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. Just please leave my 1.7 alone. It could be
Exactly.
1.8. Well, actually,
Could have been.
he must have the most beautiful penis. You would think,
Because he
right?
can. Apparently, what you have to do is you have to remove someone's bloody womb
That's
to get
the
it
point.
done.
You probably don't do that. You remove your. So this is the thing, right? He says, I need to get the herbs. No, don't worry, I can take it, right?
Yeah.
Because she can't deal with the hangover. She's got to get this done and go.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, even just a quick shower is not getting the stink of the horrible things you've just gone through off you. Do you know what I mean? Like a hard day's work takes 2 showers.
She looks like she's covered in blood, she's covered in sweat, she's covered in whatever's on the floor, whatever chemicals they use afterwards.
Magic ink.
It's gonna be something.
Like me, Sharpie takes a while to get off. This ink can take a hunchback off a woman, right? Like
exactly.
Anyway, they
just
go
to
through
wrap
the
up their
process.
thing, what they do with the thing, because it's going back and forth again in these next scenes. He goes, this scene, sorry, to redo yourself, to be reborn means that you can never bear ever again. Right. Bear children ever again.
The cost of reshaping a life is your ability to create one, basically.
Exactly. And he sort of like looks down and she's sort of like, are you okay with that? It's like, yeah. Go ahead. And when I heard that, first of all, I was like, okay, so that's like the side effect of the magic, right?
Yeah.
Right, that's how it is.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to literally rip your womb and your ovaries from your vagina.
Take them out because that's the ingredient.
That's then put them down.
Specifically the key ingredient.
We're going to fry it up on a skillet like a liver.
Right.
And then we're gonna mash it up into a lasso, and that's the ingredient to the ink I need to put on your body to do that. This is weird. Magic be weird, bro.
It's rough. Metaphorically, I really like it.
Yeah.
But I also, the first time, thought it was similar to you. I do dig, actually, the way they did it. Bit hardcore to do while conscious as well. I feel like she maybe would have passed out or something. Like, please God, pass out.
The way she was screaming as well. Like, my girlfriend came down right when it was screaming, and she had Isla in her hands. And I was like, maybe you should take Isla away. There's a lot of screaming happening right now.
It's a really weird scene because she's super vulnerable. Like, she's naked the whole way through it.
Yeah.
I think the real key here, and this is why I hate what they say, what her line in like one of the later episodes with the gin. But what was taken from me, she says something like that. Like, she specifically goes to all of this.
Yeah.
She does it conscious. She knows exactly what she's giving up. She's trading it for power. And that's the fact that she sort of, while very human, rewrites it in the later episodes. I hate that because Yen is all about drive and focus and knowing exactly what she wants. And I hate that they do that to her. But, man, is she hardcore. My God.
That is pretty hardcore right there. All while Geralt is getting while she's going through her transformation, Geralt is going for the Striga.
Yes, so I want to do this. Nightmare. The Striga is nightmare fuel. It just appears behind douchebag. The way
it appears, like all you see first of all is like
it's umbilical
cord hanging down, and then you see a face come by the other side.
Yeah, like
he turns around, it's gone, and then cuts open his guts.
It's messed up,
and he's just like laying there dead.
It's messed up, and it's cool because while Yennefer is going through her like creation process, we're learning about Geralt as a core person. Like he can kill the Striga.
Yeah.
He's got the equipment for it. Yeah. The reason this fight goes so poorly for him, the reason he's so messed up, is because he's specifically not killing it.
Yes.
He's not killing it's the easy answer.
Just before he goes into the castle, he's walking up to the castle with his weapons, everything getting ready, and he talks to the king, because the king comes outside in his armor, and he confronts Geralt, and he has a little word with him for the first time. He's honest with him as well. He's like, will she be?
No, it starts off even more honest. He says, at first I tried to resist. We both did. But, it went that way. And then he says, oh, I don't really care. And then he asks about his daughter. You know, like, well, will she be... Well, can you save her? I don't know.
Yeah.
Will she be normal? She's spent however long it's been she's going to need specialist care.
Yeah. She's been angry and hungry, and that's all she's known for her whole life.
Also murdering people and eating their organs.
Exactly. Yeah. But he's sort of like... After he sees that and sees the kind of like remorse and feelings that the king's going through, he kind of tries to give him a bit of hope, and he gives this like medallion thing.
Yeah.
Was that from Renfrew?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought so. I was like, okay, was that? And he goes, if I come back, it's like it's something for you to hold hope. If I don't, then think of it as a gift.
Right.
It's like, well, you don't think you're gonna come back from this. It's like, well, I've tried to free princesses before from curses.
Right.
I know how this goes. And it's like, indicate basically he might not come back from this.
He might not come back, and also killing her is an option. Yeah. It's just low down on his list. He'd really rather not.
Yeah.
Into the fight,
Yep.
because let's just keep it together. Editors. One, the Striga is nightmare fuel. It's everything about the way it moves, the way it walks.
Scary.
It like can smell him.
Yeah.
And it comes to like the top of these stairs and Geralt's down the bottom and you just see him like whoosh, this silver chain.
And then he starts spinning it. And
sick.
each spin is just smacking on the ground like
Yeah.
shh. And then the Striga comes closer and he tries to wrap it around and it's clearly burning the Striga with the silver. But the Striga is powerful as frick. Bursts through the
Hulks
chains
out.
and he's just like,
Fuck.
boom, gets smacked across the room and it's like, oh god, this is going to be a long fight. This is going to be a long fight, guys.
It's actually a really great fight, and I love his use of signs in this because so like if you don't know and you haven't clocked it so far, witches are magically enhanced, they're mutants, but they're also taught very simple, very quick, like battle magic. Yeah, stuff that you can cast really quickly. It's not super potent, but it's more than like a regular person or most monsters kind of know.
Yes.
And it's a way to give them an advantage. It's the only magic they really know.
Yeah.
And he uses it. He uses Ard a couple of times in a really great way.
Couple of times, bangs her, throws her across the room.
Yeah.
A couple of times one time where the Striga gets on top of Geralt, and Geralt uses Ard on the ground to break the ground so they can go further down.
But they drop down into the crypt.
This is not where you want to be,
No.
Geralt. This is not where you want to be. It's coming close to morning, so he just needs to fight her off for a little bit longer. And at one point, she notices that that it's coming up to morning.
Well, so there's a couple of things that he does that tip her it off just before that. So like he makes it so she can't leave for one.
Puts up a magical barrier on the door. Very cool.
Eden or something is one of the signs in the game. In the game, it's like a thing on the signs on the ground.
Cool.
So he makes that barrier. And this is my favorite thing about this whole episode. Those silver knuckle dusters.
With the wolves on them right there.
Oh, my days.
That was so cool.
I was fully hard.
He puts them on. The Striga tries to run at the door. The barrier bounces the Striga back off. And he just pulls it out. They
like
start
it's
to
a
attack.
boxing match off the ropes. He just like sparks her.
Goes flying across the room. Like, damn, Geralt, you're going hard.
Pretty serious.
And then like it notices like the sun's starting to come up, morning's starting to come, and they see the crypt is half open. They both have a look. The Striga goes running for it. Geralt goes over, rugby tackles her essentially out of the way, bangs into the wall, and he dives himself into the crypt. Pulls the thing over the top and puts his protection barrier to close himself in there, and the Striga's just like pounding on the top, like
It like how?
like
It's
accurate right there.
it's really good.
It's very very.
I
cool.
really like this whole scene.
Very very cool.
Including
right
should we just finish it up this whole thing in the crypt?
yeah, go on.
Enough time passes.
Yes.
And Geralt luckily has been bench pressing because I don't think I could because he doesn't lift it off. He slides it.
Mate, as well as a fantastic chest for him to be able to bench it off of himself, he's also got fingers of steel. There you go, son. Don't worry about it. Go it like that.
Absolutely monstrous show of force. And he gets up and over on the ground is this girl?
Yeah. Covered in like mud and like water.
Reminds me of the Enchantress from Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You know, like she's covered in like
that great movie, just fantastic.
one of the best movies ever made. The pinnacle of DC.
Exactly.
I think everybody agrees. What pinnacle of superhero movies?
In general.
That and Green Lantern, of course.
Yes.
She's covered in like grime and blood. Mud is all we'll say.
Yes, that's all we'll
She's
say
covered
for
in
now.
a lot of stuff. Also, it's funny you noticed someone's teeth before. I noticed her teeth because they've been brushed in 10 years.
Yeah.
Or however old she is, 15 or whatever.
Maybe bad. And Geralt goes over to see her.
Yeah.
And just as he's like gets close enough, she pulls out what looks like claws on her hand. And I'm like, so she's not fully back yet? Or what's
she's
going
still
on?
What's going on? Well, one of the things I like is she's grown up.
Yes.
But she only knows what she's experienced as a Striga, and she doesn't seem to know that she's not that same thing.
Yeah.
And so she just attacks it.
Like, gives him a swipe. He falls back, and she jumps onto him.
And munches him.
and takes a bite out of him. And he does he stab her in like the neck area or something like that? Because later on he asks about her neck as well.
Yeah.
And he must do something to try and defend himself or something like that. But he is severely hit right here.
Yeah.
He falls back and you see blood pouring out of his mouth. And he's
neck
like
area
falling down to the side until he loses consciousness.
Yeah.
You're like, no!
That's the end of Geralt.
End of Witcher season 1, and in fact they're not going to be making any more because Geralt dies right here.
Of course, yeah.
So how did you find that episode?
Yeah,
bro?
it was really good.
Yeah, he goes up.
Yeah.
We do have a cut here where we go back to Yennefer, where she appears in her new body, her beautiful body and her beautiful dress.
Yeah.
Is it that she has also a magic on her, which makes everybody just immediately look at her like she's just the most gorgeous person in the world?
I think it's a couple of things.
Yeah.
I think it is that one, she interrupts the party.
Okay.
So like the dance is happening and she like everybody's here, no one else is coming,
and somehow
and
this
someone
bitch is
arrives, and she is Yennefer of Vengerberg.
Yep.
She looks the way she looks.
Mm-hmm.
And importantly, she carries herself the way she carries herself because she has realized power through her own actions.
Yeah.
Where she wasn't given this power by anyone, where she wasn't like gifted it by the Council of Wizards. She didn't owe it to anyone. She went through it the hard way to get what she wanted. And she's there with a purpose. She looks directly at the guy and walks straight up to the person she needs to speak to.
Yes.
And introduce herself as Yennefer of Vengerberg.
Yeah.
Vengerberg? Venger Boys.
No.
Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room.
And she really commands it. And the poor girl who was assigned to that king is like left speechless as well.
It's the daughter of the guy who was leading the Brotherhood of Mages or whatever.
Yeah, right. Just she's left speechless right there.
She has a name. They all have names, by the way. They are all named. We just don't know them.
Names? Who needs to know their names? Oh my god, damn it. And she goes off to have a dance with this guy
Right.
And that's all the last that we see of them.
Yeah.
We cut back to Geralt, and he's being treated by Triss.
Yes, he is.
Turns out he didn't die.
Lucky.
He survived just by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah.
And he wakes up
in his sleep.
He's obvious. Oh yeah, sorry, in his sleep.
Which I don't know why they do this, but maybe it's from the books. But like he says Renfrey's name a handful of times.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh no, you hear him say it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear him say it. Yeah.
It's the only thing anyway, it's the only noise he makes. Renfrey.
Yeah.
Renfrey. I don't get why, because their relationship wasn't particularly close.
And it doesn't come back again. Which is so strange, right?
Right. I wonder if
it was Ciri, then it'd be like, right.
If he's randomly saying the name Ciri and it's like decades before she's even a thought in anyone's head, interesting prophecy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it would have been cool if Triss had said, "Who's Ciri?"
Yeah.
Like I don't know anyone called Ciri. Why
like the girl in the woods that Renfrey said. It's like, we know who that's gonna be.
Right.
Oh, was that? But I don't know.
Right, exactly.
It is a bit strange.
It's a bit odd, and maybe that is something from the books, or it's a scene that was cut out that we didn't get from the show.
Maybe.
But it's odd. She asks about that, and he doesn't want to.
Yeah, Geralt wakes up, and his only concern is about the money. He goes, and even after hearing, like, apparently he was saying Renfrey in his sleep, he doesn't care. He sees that. As well as getting the money, the king gave back the Renfrey's little emblem thing and whatnot.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Not really sure.
Yeah, me neither.
Not really sure. I guess he just didn't care about it. He's like, I've got enough gold. I'm fine with it. No thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
Yeah. And then
because the reason I mention that is they make a big show of Geralt giving it to Foltest, and then they really show it when he's looking at it.
Yeah.
And the only connection it has to anything is for him looking at it is the connection to Renfrey, but she doesn't have a connection to anything else other than the Butcher of Blaviken story. It's a bit disjointed for me anyway.
It's an odd one. And then he survives and he's about to go on his way. Apparently he needs his money so he can get back to Roach so he can save his good old girl Roach, I should say.
That's right.
And that's the end that we see of that. We then cut to Ciri for the first time in this episode.
Yeah.
She wakes up in the forest.
Still with those fantastic eyes.
Gorgeous.
Incredible contact lenses.
Perfectly done. And yeah, so she gets up.
She wakes up in wakes up is strong because she's kind of in a trance. She just like gets up, sits up and walks.
Ciri.
Yeah, is whispering.
Ciri. And she gets up and she, as you said, she just walks in one direction. There's an open area. She's walking across it over to a tree line that
Like a
she just sees
forest,
over
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and the other elf boy,
Dara.
wakes
Why
up as
do I
well.
know his name, but I couldn't remember anybody else?
So weird, because that's like he's not exactly the most important character.
Basically useless.
Exactly. Wakes up and sees. It was like, Ciri, where are you? Sees her walking off into the distance, starts running after her, and then an arrow comes out of nowhere.
Even before that, he looks around and it's like a no man's land. There's like corpses and bones and corpses with arrows sticking out, and then an arrow comes out of nowhere. And like, I think it hits him, right? Gets him in the shoulder.
Is the second one?
Oh,
yeah,
the second one.
He decides I'm gonna run after Ciri anyway, and he runs forward, gets hit in the shoulder, and he's down on the ground. He's like maybe 10 feet away from her, but she's in this trance and she can't hear nothing.
And she's just walking towards the woods, and
she keeps walking. She sees the forest, and then cuts.
That's it.
And that's the end of this episode 3, guys.
Yeah.
It was really awesome. There was
really
a lot of cool stuff. The fight with the Striga was fantastic.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really good, and
a lot of good boobies. It was very nice. There's
a bunch of boobies.
Yeah.
I will say the scene in which Yens are out kind of ruins it for me that she's having major surgery without anesthetics.
Yeah.
I mean, I still managed to crank one out.
Yeah, obviously.
But
yeah, even the part where they were removing her womb through her vagina.
I mean, that was the scene.
Climax, right? There. That was that. I was like,
was
oh, that did it for me, right? That did it for me, guys. Thank you, everybody, for writing in also to patreon.com/conversations, just like our boy Javi Darian did.
Yes, Javi.
Javi, our lad right here, he goes, "Dear friends," get the reference. Friends, it's good. I like it right there. Awesome to be back with Streamcast. I've been enjoying the rewatch of The Witcher, and I think it's a fantastic idea to review the show. That being said, The Witcher is a sword with two edges. While I love the show, there are some serious issues, and I have with it, especially after having read most of the books. Hold on a sec. I just want to check.
Yeah.
I can't read all of this.
Why?
Because it's a review of the whole season.
That's funny because he said, I like rewatching the show. It's a good idea. And we're doing it episodically, which I know he's seen the other episodes.
I'm going to read some stuff here. So, guys, if you consider the books, however, I really have to say the show had some weird choices. This isn't a big issue, but there are some strangely much diversity in the medieval Slavic-inspired setting. We've said that as well before.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, the Witcher books are set in medieval Poland, which is whiter than mayonnaise.
Yes.
And the fact that the main dude that runs the witch council and his daughter, Fringilla. Fringilla she's a character in the books and in the game.
That's her name, yeah.
She's very white. They're all Polish. Yen is she's Mediterranean.
It's all supposed to be white,
Triss
and there are people that
Mediterranean.
aren't. So that's a very big change that they made to it.
It's big, it kind of. So like, for example, the thing that bugs me most about Triss is and this does bug me, is she isn't anywhere near as hot as Yen, and she should be because there's a love triangle here. Not that I'm not beefing out the actress, right? But Yen is cast not just for her acting, but she also needs to be gorgeous, right? Same, like you don't cast Chris Evans as T'Challa. Wrong guy for it. Got the acting ability, but doesn't fit the rest of the profile. And Triss is supposed to be hotter, and she does all the mage stuff. So that bugs me a bit. Mm-hmm. Forgetting her color. I think both her and Yenna are like Mediterranean or Middle East or something like that.
I think Yen was Indian.
Oh, she Indian.
I think so.
They're both not white. Not that. I mean, I guess it does matter because they're supposed to be Polish. Like if you think about everybody else fits in Poland in like, let's say 1300s, except these guys.
Yeah.
Not a big deal really, but like it kind of stands out.
If you do want to, that's the thing. We made the point at the beginning, and it is a valid one. It's just that it's medieval Slavic times. It doesn't fit. They wouldn't have those kind of people. But it's not. It doesn't kill the show. It doesn't kill the show.
Exactly.
Continuing from what he said just here, because the acting is good, this doesn't matter too much. But I don't think that it makes a lot of sense. For some reason, Kahir and Frigilla are plain evil in the show. Foltus,
that bugs me.
Foltus, who is described as very handsome in the books, isn't very good looking.
Yeah.
He actually isn't very good looking. He's very ugly,
not.
actually.
I took that to be a guy who has let himself go for how old is the kid? She's like 15 or something. How long do they say people have been disappearing? It's been a bunch of time.
A lot of time,
This is a guy who's let himself go in the last 15 years, let's say.
I guess he's just like riddled with guilt, isn't he? He's just,
Foltest is also a character in a pretty pivotal character, I think, in the second Witcher game. And it's weird because here this is like kind of you do this job, then you leave, never come back to Temeria. But in my head anyway, just trying to sort out all the canon, Foltest is kind of a big deal, and I believe he and Geralt have a pretty workable relationship. Okay. So it's a bit odd to me. I could be misremembering.
Maybe he comes back from this job, and because of what happened, they do have a workable relationship. Triss as well seems to play a bit more of an aiding sister than a needy lover. She is in the books. So far, she doesn't seem at all like a lover. There's anything there. Again, the show is great, but I can't ignore some of its issues because of some of the voice. Because in some voice chat in the future, we can go over The Witcher in more detail, but for now, I'll just have to suffice. I look forward to ranting about one episode. Until then, fuck. Thank you very much for that comment, bro. You're a legend.
There is a real discussion that people should be having about the casting choices, and it's like the race thing. Okay.
Do you know what it is? I've just sort of relinquished it now. I'm like, it happened. It didn't destroy my enjoyment for the show, so I'm like,
if Yennefer,
you could have done this the other way. You could have.
What's that?
But you didn't.
Who's the chick from the frickin' the books about the Hunger Games? What's her name?
Oh, Jennifer Lawrence.
If Jennifer Lawrence was in the Dora Milaje, would you care? I think that might.
Yeah, it would throw me off.
I think it would. So there's something in that.
I don't know why it doesn't.
It's not as noticeable here.
Don't get me wrong. It's not that it's that probably would bother me, and also it would bother me in other things. For some reason, in this, it doesn't bother me.
It's not as bad. Yeah. As someone obviously that I love the game and I have read some of the books, it stands out a bit more to me. But again, it isn't enormous. No. I will say Fringilla, and my biggest beef with Fringilla and Triss is the same, and it isn't that they're not white. It's that they're both not hot enough. A lot of these witches, all of these witches, and Striga should be more handsome. Like, one of the things these guys do is make themselves beautiful, and it's not just for vanity.
Good point.
Right? The reason, like, if you listen to their discussion, the Mage Council, whatever it is, they're talking about manipulating the world for their own benefit. Yeah. One of the reasons that they make themselves so beautiful is to make them more persuasive and for people to listen to them. Like, the world, we know this. If Henry Cavill was a 1 out of 10, but still 6 foot and yoked, he wouldn't have the acting career that he does, being as gorgeous as he is. Even if you change the one thing, if you just change his face, right? So they make themselves gorgeous for a reason, and I hate that it sounds like an insult to the actresses, but it sounds so rude, but they just aren't pretty enough to be in the role that they're in, right? You don't cast Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot's perfect for Wonder Woman because she's freaking gorgeous, and you wouldn't cast Dame Judi Dench as Wonder Woman for a bunch of reasons.
She's a handsome woman. Okay?
I didn't say I wouldn't bang her. I said you don't cast her as Wonder Woman.
Juicy Left Nut 69 right, Sydney says, I finished playing The Witcher 3 a month ago.
Nice.
And my first time watching the show, watching it episodically with you guys. Oh, he's watching it with us for
Gamer,
the first. That's
cool. How you watch this, yeah.
But so far, this was my favorite. Geralt taking on the Striga was so fucking awesome. Although, in my opinion, Yennefer at the very end stole the whole show. What an absolute show, smoke show, eh? Well, it's your fucking smoke show she is. But I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the series with you guys. Thank you so much, bro. It's awesome that you're watching it with us.
It's funny, innit? Because I kind of agree. The thing I remember most is that last scene with Yennefer, despite the fact that this fight with the Striga and the wolf knuckle dust and stuff is so good that Yen kind of takes the cake because it's her creation story, and her creation story is more impactful than just a really difficult mission for Geralt, you know?
Yeah.
So it's good. Also, Yen has some really great scenes. And despite all the things that I just beefed out, the casting and stuff, the actress is perfect. I don't know who else you would pick.
Yeah, that's the thing, because The story is the only thing that's the issue with me. How things are jumping around. That was the only thing that bothers me.
That's the biggest problem.
Everything else just seems to be okay for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm choosing not to look at it. Maybe the other issues are so glaring that it's distracting me from these issues. But I'm just like, I'm just enjoying what I'm seeing.
They do rewrite a few things. The decisions in the show that bug me the most are things like the editing. It is jumping around too much. The weird times, the way they're telling the story with the time skips is a bit odd. And they make those writing decisions. So, like, I'm not going to go too far into it. If you're watching along episodically, like weekly with us, you've probably binged the whole show. But Yen makes that decision. She says, it was taken from me. We just watched her go out of her way to get her uterus removed. Yeah. Specifically for power. That wasn't taken from her by people. She went after it.
Made that choice.
And Triss does something at the end. In the books and in the game, I think it happens in the second game, that is like world
big event.
She is a freaking badass. Yeah. If you're saying like that's a Muhammad Ali is the best boxer ever, here's the proof. For Magic.
That's the proof right there.
It's like heavyweight championship of the world. She's up there with Yen in terms of power, in terms of like notable events, and in this she kind of falls over it. Literally just falls over at the end. That really bugged me.
It's like a Superman level event.
It's sick.
And instead she gets a Batman level event, which is just nothing really. So
exactly like that.
Yeah.
I actually had a theory. You reminded me. We got to talk Batman after this.
Okay.
But other than that, like apart from a few weird writing decisions, which they do retcon some stuff, and I bet it bugs Javi more than other people.
And Adam, I know Adam's got a problem with this. Something.
But overall, the show's very enjoyable. Yeah. It's just not super true to the books or the game.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, weirdly...
I wonder if season 2 will get better.
Oh, fuck, I hope so.
I wonder if they've, like... Because that's the thing. The first time of anything can always be a hit or a miss or a bit of a...
Trying to find your feet.
Exactly. Yeah. If they take the criticism nicely, address certain things, maybe do things a little bit differently, maybe be better. Or if they just continue and maybe just improve their own craftsmanship, and then still you're like, do you know what? This isn't like the books. It's making its own thing, but it's a lot better than it was before.
It's okay to go off piece. Plus, because the timeline's united, I think that's going to be a big help.
They're going to go back again. They're like, all right, we separate them again.
So I actually don't mind the time skips, and I could see it coming in season 2, but the fact that we can always come back to Yen, Dandelion, or Jaskia, Ciri and Geralt all at the same point where we get to see that little family unit develop, and they're jumping backwards and forwards to do history stuff. I'm cool with that. But I want to be able to come back to, oh look, there's Geralt and Ciri developing their relationship, because at the minute they just found each other. No, they haven't found each other yet, have they?
No, not yet.
The girl in the woods. We'll find out if they find each other.
We don't know if they ever will.
It's true.
Which is really interesting because, do you know what? While we said there was only 3 episodes so far, I just checked online. 4th episode been announced, coming out.
Sick. It's coming out Monday next week, and we'll do a report on it the very next day.
Exactly. That's how it's going to happen, guys. So congratulations to all of you. You got something to watch now.
Sick.
So we'll see you guys next week, Tuesday, for episode 4 of The Witcher.
That's right.
Just come out. I wonder what they'll show in this one.
I don't know. It's impossible to tell. We have no idea where it's going. It's brand new. They're breaking new ground.
Yeah, this show is completely new, guys. There's no way to spoil it in any way. So there you go, guys. Bro, thank you for joining me for another episode of Streamcast. It's been awesome. I'll catch you next week for more Streamcast. Yeah, man. Which is totally when we record it. And we don't do things in different time.
We definitely don't. And also, we won't be seeing each other for the True Gamer podcast over on... it's not youtube.com/conversations.
It should be youtube.com,
but it isn't for some reason. If you search conversations, definitely not conversations.
Yes.
You'll find us.
Just type in True Gamer. That's all you want to know.
That's it.
And then you get a big picture of me on Wikipedia. And then that's what it is. All right. Catch you later, boys. And bro, catch you in the next one.